When an invitation arrived for Cinderella and her two stepsisters to go to the ball at the royal palace, they were very excited. "We must both have new dresses and a grand carriage," cried the sisters. "May I go to the ball?" asked Cinderella, who was busily scrubbing the floor. "Certainly not," laughed the stepsisters. "You will be busy making the house clean and tidy and helping us dress." Cinderella was very disappointed. She helped her ugly stepsisters to dress for the ball in their new fine dresses. Then she swept the hearth and sat sadly by the fire. "Oh, I do wish I could go to the ball," she sighed. "You shall go," said a strange voice, and Cinderella was surprised to see a quaint old fairy lady. "I am your fairy godmother," said the fairy. "I will grant you a wish." "I have no ball gown," said Cinderella, "and how can I go to the palace? I have no coach." We can see what can be done," said the fairy godmother. "Come into the garden with me." In the garden they found a large pumpkin. The fairy touched this with her wand, and immediately it turned into a beautiful coach. Then the magic wand turned a rat into a coachman, 2 mice into ponies, and 2 lizards into footmen. "How wonderful!" gasped Cinderella. "I have never seen anything so beautiful." "You are so clever, fairy godmother. Can you change my ragged dress into a ball gown?" "That is easily done," laughed the fairy, and with a touch of her wand she turned Cinderella's shabby dress into a lovely gown for her to go to the ball in, and her worn-out shoes into a pair of dainty glass slippers. "You must remember one thing," the fairy warned her. "When the clock strikes 12, the magic will vanish. You must be sure to leave the palace before midnight." "I will remember," promised Cinderella. Then she thanked her fairy godmother for all her wonderful magic. Cinderella stepped into her coach. "Off you go," cried the fairy, and Cinderella was driven off through the moonlight in her beautiful glass coach to the ball. When she arrived at the palace, all the guests looked at her with amazement. Her sisters did not recognize her and thought she must have been an unknown princess. "What a magnificent dress," one of them said. "And such beautiful jewellery," gasped her sister. There was certainly no one in the room quite so lovely. Prince Charming would dance with no one else. Cinderella did not tell him her name, thought she might indeed be a princess. Cinderella was enjoying herself so much she'd forgotten all about the fairy godmother's warning until she heard the clock strike. In terror she left, and the prince fled from the ballroom. As she ran down the steps she lost one of her glass slippers, but she dare not stop to pick it up. Then at the last stroke of 12, the lovely ball gown vanished, and Cinderella was left quivering in the palace garden, in her ragged dress and shabby shoes. The beautiful glass coach, the coachman, the ponies, and the footman all disappeared. Nothing remained of fairy godmother's magic, but the pumpkin, the mice, rat and lizards scuttled away into the grass. The next day Cinderella listened to her stepsisters talking about the ball and describing the beautiful unknown princess who had been there. Cinderella did not tell her about her wonderful adventure and that she too was at the ball. That day was great excitement in the town. Prince Charming sent out a courier out with a page boy carrying the glass slipper Cinderella had dropped. The courier announced the proclamation: "Prince Charming wishes to marry the ladies whose foot fits his glass slippers." All the grand ladies who had been at the ball tried on the slippers, but no foot was dainty enough to fit it. The 2 stepsisters were most eager to try, but their feet were much too big. Then Cinderella stepped forward. "May I try?" she asked. "How absurd!" jeered her stepsisters. But the page handed the glass slippers to Cinderella, who slipped in easily onto her little foot. The fairy godmother appeared, and with a wave of a wand, Cinderella was dressed again in her ball gown and proclaimed by Prince Charming as his bride. Together they lived happily in the royal palace. Oh, isn't that sweet? I'm not the greatest reader in the world. I haven't had to read little books like this for about, probably 8 years when my kids were little. But this is for all you little Cinderellas out there and all you Prince Charmings, because that's what I think you guys are. So you have a wonderful Christmas. Enjoy yourselves. Keep in touch next year. I've had a great time with you guys. Merry Christmas. Love you all. Bye-bye.